devices. Hi guys, today I wanted to talk about ENCROCHAT. So ENCROCHAT was a company that used pre-existing smartphones such as Androids and Blackberries and modified them. Each device would have a dual operating system. The ENCROCHAT operating system was application based and would run on a third-party telecommunications company called Common Process Network, KPN for short. EncroChat ran on service in France with a company called OVH Cloud. Although the company boasted of a secure network, people were coming out disregarding the security, calling it flawed. The devices were loaded with EncroChat apps so users could send encrypted messages, make encrypted calls known as EncroTalk, and write encrypted notes known as EncroNotes. The devices were also modified to have the camera, GPS and microphones disabled for extra security, but users could manually turn this off, which created a major security flaw. Devices were snapped up by celebrities, journalists and even criminals wanting a secure messaging network. The smartphones were sold in Harrods, online and behind the counter. Other companies such as Ghost PGP, Phantom Secure, PGP Safe and Venetic offered these devices costing around £1,000 to £2,000 and around £1,500 for a 6-month messaging contract. Not all users could network with all the subscribers of EncroChat. Users would create messages and images, and as they were sent, they were encrypted until received by the person it intended for. The messages would then self-destruct to ensure even more privacy. The devices would also have kill switches, but once a code was entered onto the device, it would clear it of all stored data. But users complained that you could enter multiple password attempts, leaving another gate open. Users called for this to change, and to ensure that the device was cleared after so many password attempts. A kill switch could also be activated by a third party remotely, normally by the EncroChat customer service team. The exact owners and developers of EncroChat are not currently known by the National Crime Agency, Dutch or French authorities, as reports state. The company was founded in 2016, and some reports say that it may have been funded by organised criminal gangs in the Netherlands. The company ceased trading in June 2020 when they learned their servers had been hacked. They had been hacked by a third party, which we now know was the English, French and Dutch authorities. EncroChat then pushed out a message to all subscribers that read, "Today we had our domain seized illegally by government entities. They repurposed our domain to launch an attack to compromise carbon units. With control of our domain, they managed to launch a malware campaign against the carbon to weaken its security. Due to the level of sophistication of the attack and the malware code, we can no longer guarantee the security of your device. We took immediate action on our network by disabling connectivity to combat the attack. You are now advised to power off and physically dispose of your device immediately." The period of compromise was about 30 minutes, and the best we can ascertain was about 50% of the carbon devices in Europe. But EncroChat is not one of a kind. Many companies have provided pretty good privacy services, known as PGP, over the years. But EncroChat supposedly was mainly used by people involved in organised crime that distributed drugs and guns across the world. Telecom and Wicker have seemed to have mirrored the PGP service, but again, users are complaining of security flaws. EncroChat became popular in 2018 to 2020 when British authorities intercepted another PGP service provider. This happened in the trial of Mark Fellows, who shot dead Paul Massey outside his home on the 26th of July 2015. Police supposedly uncovered the plot to kill Mr. Paul Massey via the PGP-enabled device and successfully secured convictions in the case. It also became popular as more and more phone hacking scandals involving celebrities, royals and politicians spread across the UK news. Newspapers, news channels and journalists were constantly being sued, and still are, for hacking into private devices, which is illegal in the UK without a warrant. But these warrants can only be enforced on stored data, basically meaning images, messages, and other data that is on the device itself. In the UK, it is illegal to intercept communications whilst they're being created. Basically, the UK authorities cannot tap our devices, but they can get a warrant to inspect devices. But because EncroChat has a kill switch option, this caused a barricade in collecting the data needed for convictions. Another law in the UK is it can be deemed an offence if you don't disclose the PIN to your seized device, which is known as RIPA, which was an act that was passed in the year 2000. Although subscribers of EncroChat were notified of the breach, it was too late. Operation Venetic, led by the National Crime Agency, and Operation Eternal, led by the Metropolitan Police Service, were organised to collect and analyse the data recovered from the EncroChat breach. In 2019, a joint operation between Dutch, French and British authorities found a way to hack into one of the EncroChat's private servers at the company called OVH. Again, this is located in France. Upon getting into the server, they installed malware onto the server, and some reports claim onto the devices themselves. It is claimed that each police force had different methods to intercept the devices. This captured encrypted messages, notes and images. By February 2023, the UK News reported that over 1,000 people had been arrested in the UK in connection with the evidence found within the EncroChat breach. Many of these who were arrested were across London and Liverpool. But it's not the arrest of over 1,000 people that has turned heads. The public are reading into the fact that the method in breaching the EncroChat servers may have been illegal. The National Crime Agency was taken to court over allegations that the warrant obtained to search EncroChat criminals was obtained unlawfully. It was reported that the National Crime Agency had won their right to use the warrants they obtained if they could prove they obtained the evidence used to get the warrants was not live intercept. So basically, they are using the French and Dutch evidence, even though they may have been intercepting evidence alongside the authorities using different methods. It is estimated that around 60,000 people were using EncroChat, and the data breach allowed the National Crime Agency and other authorities access to over 9,000 users' messages, contacts and other data. Some people have claimed that the sentences gained from the EncroChat evidence is not fair and does not coincide with other crimes such as sexual abuse. There have been rumours that the British authorities have coerced confessions out of defendants by offering lesser charges, but then adding more after admitting guilt to lesser charges. All this has led to increased sentences. There seems to be a plethora of news reports stating that another person has been found guilty alongside other EncroChat criminals. But please be advised, the criminal activity was not the use of EncroChat itself. EncroChat is totally legal here in the UK. But where are the not guilty reports? Even YouTubers have been posting similar videos, which kind of implies to me a lot of people think EncroChat is a gang. I think this provides a false narrative and implies guilt before you even know what EncroChat is. The Wire reported that Europol says the investigation was conducted as part of a joint investigation team that involved multiple EU bodies and national police forces. The data in the cases was captured on the basis of provisions of the French law and with judicial authorisation through the frameworks of international judicial and law enforcement cooperation. Personally, I think this is a very long-winded way of saying we found a loophole, and I think they plan to use it. The French authorities claim that 90% of the 10k British EncroChat subscribers were all organised criminals, which is around 9,000 users. But other users, such as celebrities and journalists, would also use these smartphones for privacy reasons. It is said around 10% of all British users were being arrested for their part in organised crime. Remember, some of the information would have been deleted once the warning message was released. Tons of drugs were recovered and tens of millions of pounds was also recovered. Also, multiple guns were recovered. But when I realised there was a lot of drugs, guns and money being recovered, I also thought, well, what about other people that might be using services like EncroChat? You would have thought there would have been more cases involving child abuse, because it would have been a really good network to send private messages. Also, what about terrorist abuse? Where's the convictions for that? Surely it's a terrorist dream to have a network to communicate on that's completely private, even though I have stated it was flawed. But some people would have tried to use this. It seems mad they've only capped it at drug dealers. It is scary to believe that terrorists and child abusers could use this technology. Imagine if they had 2 years, free reign on one of these devices. Just think of the damage they could cause. No doubt they are using similar forms of technology. There are a lot of cases involving the EncroChat scandal, and it seems that some defendants have sold themselves short, pled guilty, which is strange. I'm sure their legal counsel should have advised to hold put until the court case against the National Crime Agency. A lot of solicitors have spoken out about this and offered support for anybody that's involved in the EncroChat scandal. If you're any of those people, I'll leave a link to any of the solicitors so you can get some further legal advice, because it seems state legal advice is not actually helping. But that's all I've got for now, and I will be reading more documents I've found about EncroChat, and obviously hopefully find some cases involved in EncroChat. But like I say, a lot of the cases are all guilty cases. I can't seem to find not guilty cases. So I've only heard one other YouTuber, which is Joe Kidd, talk about the not guilty verdicts. And even then he says that if you Google the not guilty verdicts, you can't find any. And this is true because I've been doing it for the past couple of weeks and I can't find any. I would really like to do more cases on not guilty verdicts because I think it's a fair representation and I'd like to keep the balance a bit even. I know sometimes true crime is all about the gory cases, but we also have to give other people a chance, even if the court of law has found them not guilty. I know some people might think, oh, you're not innocent if you've been found not guilty, but that still implies that you're guilty before you're found innocent, which should not be the case in law. But thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day. Thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.